What's up guys, welcome to another Derek MC Gaming video. Today's video isn't Minecraft related, or even gaming related, but it's tech related. The main focus of my old channel, Derek Talk Tech. Today Apple announced new iPads, a base model one, and new iPad Pros. This is for real, not that one time I did a video about Apple releasing the iPhone SE 4. It has been an odd day in Apple history, as they held an event announcement press release for the first time since December 2020, when the AirPods Max were announced. On the new iPad Pros, the main upgrades are the new M2 chip, with an extra 2 GPU cores, more efficient efficiency cores, and a stronger media engine. Wi-Fi 6E for the first time on an Apple product, with support for faster Wi-Fi speeds on congested networks, ProRes video recording, and more Pro apps. So, mostly internal and software changes. Also announced was a new Apple TV 4K with an A15 Bionic chip from last year, and a new Siri remote with USB-C charging. So again, mostly internal changes. This is definitely not the case with the new iPad 10th Gen. It finally gets a flat-sided design like the rest of the iPad lineup. Some things are expected with the design generation first introduced with the iPad Pros in 2018, like USB-C and no home button on the front. But in many ways, the new iPad introduces some new stuff, some really useful and others questionable. Here's the story of the brand new 10th Gen iPad. For months, the entire tech community has waited for this new base model iPad after the iPad 9th Gen came out 13 months ago. It had been expected to come at the September event that new iPhones were announced at, but I guess Apple wasn't iPad happy because not a single one was announced then. While last September, 2 iPads were announced. Many leaks leading up to today have suggested the iPad 10 would have flat sides, but keep the home button, while still thinning down to the bezels to the size they were on the iPad Air 3 from 2019. Instead, rip home button, then Touch ID move to the power button just like the iPad Air and Mini. That would mean you would not be able to buy an iPad brand new with a home button, but Apple decided to keep around the 9th Gen iPad, probably because of the iPad 10's exorbitant price of $449. At least compared to the $329 price of the 9th Gen. Other upgrades are the new A14 chip with a 20% CPU performance improvement from last year, and twice the neural engine cores. This also means there's an extra gigabyte of RAM for better multitasking performance. There's a new 12 megapixel rear camera with 4K video, and a 10.9-inch screen that is identical to the iPad Air, except that the screen isn't laminated. There are new pastel colors of blue, pink, and yellow, and stereo speakers finally. There are 2 main innovative features on this new iPad. They are the landscape front camera and the new keyboard case. The landscape camera is a first for an iPad, but not for tablets in general. Samsung and Surface tablets have had front cameras and landscape orientation for years. This means that while video conferencing, it doesn't look like you're looking off to the side when looking in the center of the screen. The front camera is still 12 megapixels ultra-wide camera from last year. The other part of it is the new keyboard case, and it's pretty sick. It's like the Magic Keyboard, but is not floating. The iPad retains the same downwards-facing connector pins from last year, but uses these to connect to a 2-piece keyboard case. One part magnetically connects to the back, and the other part, the keyboard, connects to the bottom side separate from the back piece. The keyboard part has a larger trackpad than even the 12.9-inch iPad Pro Magic Keyboard case. And finally, a full row of function keys for controlling things such as brightness and volume. It reminds me of Logitech's range of keyboard cases, but white and not protecting the sides of the iPad. I really wish this case would be brought to the rest of the iPad line, because of those function keys, larger touchpad, and lower price. Because of these 2 things, the new iPad is being marketed as a budget laptop replacement, and it does quite well at being that, except for the price of just under $700 with the iPad with 64 GB of storage and the Magic Keyboard Folio. It is not, however, a good tablet for stylus use, especially with Apple's own stylus. This is the main questionable thing with the tablet. This tablet only supports the 1st Gen Apple Pencil with the Lightning connector, yet the 10th Gen iPad has a USB-C port. Every other flat-sided iPad with USB-C has had a magnetic strip on the top side to connect to the 2nd Gen Apple Pencil, but not the iPad 10. Instead, you have to use the included USB-C to USB-C cable and a Lightning to USB-C adapter that will come with every new 1st Gen Apple Pencil from now on, or $9 separately. That's so janky. Almost as janky as this. Instead of just unifying the Apple Pencil lineup, they complicated it by making it necessary to buy a brand new iPad. At least they decreased the price by $10, and the unlaminated display doesn't help the artistry either. So this gets me to the main point of the video. If you shouldn't buy the iPad 10, then what should you buy? Let me introduce you to the iPad mini, an 8.3-inch tablet released in September 2021, the same time as the 9th gen iPad. For $50 more than the iPad 10, you get an A15 Bionic, the processor that is 1 year newer than the iPad 10's, but also the 5-core GPU version of the A15, which is found in the newest iPhone 14 models. It supports the 2nd gen Apple Pencil, has a laminated display, a flashlight on the back, and 4 speakers. You may argue saying, well, there is no keyboard support, and the screen is so tiny. But let me tell you, I own the iPad mini, and it's basically the perfect size for a tablet. Sure, there is no keyboard case from Apple for it, but there are other companies making keyboard cases for it. It is such a good tablet for handheld gaming, and you get a size that is just large enough to be worth it to use over a phone, and small enough to reach thumbs across the screen while holding the tablet in your hand, and light enough to not be fatiguing. It's still a decent size for your canvas for drawing and artistry. It's also great for watching YouTube, as the screen is quite a bit larger than even the largest phones, and is still portable. It's an especially enjoyable experience with the quad speakers. The iPad mini can even fit into some pants pockets, even jeans pockets, at least in men's jeans. Overall, if you don't mind sacrificing for the first-party keyboard case support, small size, or the portrait orientation selfie camera, the iPad mini is definitely something you should consider instead of the iPad 10. Like the video if you found it helpful, and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.